Welcome back to the Scrubdom, everybody. A couple of things that I've discovered while letting them get a bunch of work done. We got the hatch ranch taken care of. That was a pretty quick setup. We already have an egg in there, which is nice, and he's eating through all of the sedimentary rock already. Really hoping we get some stone hatches here soon so we can switch them over to igneous rock, because we have plenty of igneous rock on this planetoid. In my digging, though, I found the hydrogen vent. I haven't gotten over here to analyze it yet because this does put out 500 degrees Celsius. So I'm probably going to let this sit for a bit, but I think it is idle. But that is, it's not actually too bad in there. It's equaling out in temperature. I might be able to crack in maybe in this episode or the next. I do have the insulated tile. I could crack in, check it, and then border it up. With this, we can get a hydrogen power plant set up. That might be something that we have to do. But then we have this cool biome to the north that we discovered towards the end of the last episode. Two things, and these are both going to be great. One, we found a neutronium layer here. I know it's not the cool salt slush geyser that's actually at the bottom of the planetoid right now. I found that as well. But the big thing we found is actually up here in this corner here. Behind this wall of ice is our anti-entropy thermonullifier. With this, we can actually have our oxygen pass in front of it and constantly cool it down to a point that temperature will not be a problem. We will want to see how much we want to pass through it though, because we have to be careful. Mealwood, like most crops, have a certain temperature they can grow at. If I remember correctly, it's like 20 C. Oh, it can actually go down to 10 C. Yeah, we can make that work. Thanks to I also spent a lot of time digging out a whole bunch of the fertilizer. Not fertilizer, algae. I found some more up here and started digging it out as well. It's actually how I even found the anti-entropy nullifier. And yeah, we're almost to space already too. Wow, wait, that's another cold biome. Wow. Oh yeah, then, yep, this is getting ready to erupt, which means we're gonna get some pretty good heat in here soon. And then down here at the bottom, yeah, we found the cool salt slush geyser. And what I'm thinking is I'll use this to fuel all the water that we're going to need for a bunch of different projects, except for the spalm. The spalm is going to get whatever's towards the top. I'm willing to bet that one up there is just the cool slush geyser, which means it's going to give off polluted water. Yeah, we just need a water sieve up here. And then as long as we have this going into a desalinator and we're constantly turning the salt into the table salt, we'll also get a whole bunch of sand. Well, let's check out our new duplicant though. Let's see if there's anything worth taking. Okay, so I'm debating between two things on this one. Rowan actually isn't bad. We can turn him into a farmer with a secondary in tidying, so he'd be able to go through and sweep up a bunch of stuff, which also gives him a good amount of strength, which means he can actually carry a lot more straight off the get-go. He has plus 200 kilos. But also early Dreklet eggs. But we also have those Dracos around, so we don't need them. So yeah, we're going to go with Rowan. We just have to get Rowan a name. All right, everybody, I want you to welcome drinking to the community, or to the planet. Let's go ahead and get his priorities set up real quick. All right, we got his priorities, and we got everyone's skill points spent up, and I went ahead and just finally equipped him with all their little hats. We need to queue up a couple of projects for them to do. I actually want to get up here and start digging this out. We need to see what's in here, get it researched, and start getting a spalm set up. Since we have the anti-entropy nullifier, we'll probably just set up the spalm right here. And all the oxygen should just come down. I'll probably also just leave it open. Then we'll want to get down here and actually get to the source of water, which means we gotta tear through the rust biome. I also want to get a Draco farm up and running this episode, and see about getting someone over to the other planetoid just to see what's there. Might also look into capturing the cool steam vent this episode too, just so it's ooh, we have a Weezewort seed there. But yeah, there's just a lot of little things that are going to be happening this episode, a lot of little job-like things. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, we got to the geyser. Sadly, it was not the polluted water geyser, or even the cool slush the salt slush. The regular slush geyser, the one that gives off polluted water. It was the carbon dioxide geyser. I'm not ready for this, so I'm going to seal it off. I'm going to get everything in here swept out, and we're just going to ignore this ever happened. This is just a non-bow at this point. But first, I have to make sure that... But first, I'm also going to get it analyzed. I'm going to let... Who was my analyzer? Ben's starter analyzed. And actually, I want this analyzed sooner rather than later there, Ben. Ben's still trying to figure out what the actual name of his starter was. We're actually going to be going over all that shortly. Let's also get that there. Ah, I gotta go clear up some space. But the sooner this is cleared out, the better. Okay, here comes Ben's starter. Oh, that's gonna take a while. So the only reason I want to cap this off is because carbon dioxide can be a massive problem. And as you can see, it's already started to really fill up this area. It's gonna sink in here until it can't anymore. And then it's gonna float up, over, and down. Now, I still want to try to get the spawn in this area, but there is also this cool biome over here, which might have the geyser that I'm looking for. So I might have to go with that one. If nothing else, I can always use this one. Now watch, we have the cool salt slush geyser here. Watch the cool slush geyser be just below it. So we started making our way down towards the bottom ice biome here, and I'm also starting to see some of the magma biome, or at least the really warm biome. It's going to get hot down there, and luckily I'm only seeing the one abyssalite crack right here. I'm hoping it just keeps going all the way through, but we're only seeing the cool salt slush geyser here. We're still going to tame it. I'm actually going to go with a smaller tamer this time. The downside is I was really hoping we'd also have the salt slush geyser, or at least a polluted water geyser of some sort. So we know it's not above us because above us is carbon dioxide. To our left is nothing. So it has to be in either this one directly to our right or this one directly to the right of the topmost ice biome. If it's in one of those two, it can still work, especially if it's here, because we can just set up a smaller tamer with a couple of fluid buffers, pump it over to this one, since this is where our entropy thermal nullifier is, or we can pump the oxygen over. If we do that, we have plenty of room here to still work with stuff. I'm not really seeing a lot of vents or geysers on the left side. So if I've got a clear path on this left side here, I'm going to try to set up a really big dirty brick over on this side for power. I've also started creating an ethanol pit down here, and I've got people sweeping it up. But I also wanted to point this out with pips. I don't know if he's going to do it while I'm zoomed in here, but pips are like cats. They're kind of annoying. They'll actually crawl on your bins and pull stuff out of your bins. So if there's something specific you want in the bin, say like bleach stone, because you're trying to store it up, make sure a pip can't get to it because he might just pull it out. But to be fair, if you're using things like bleach stone, it should be submerged in water. Right here I've got about 115 kilograms. Oh yeah, see right there, he did it. He started pulling out a whole bunch of ice. It had a bunch of ice in it and he just started pulling it out. If it's something that's going to off gas, make sure it's in water. It can't off gas in water. Even just this light layer of water here. I mean, I don't even have 1,000 kilograms per tile here. Oh my god, I don't have 1,000 kilograms per water. It's okay. We're going to capture the salt slush geyser. It's going to be fine. Alright, so what I'm setting up here is just a little mini capture system. When something doesn't give off heat, really, you can actually capture them very easily like this. I didn't need that big open area. I just wanted to have a small industrial district in the last episode. Well, in the last series, I should say. Pretty much, I've just got a bunch of fluid buffers up here. Water's going to get stuck in here. The liquid pump is going to bring it up. The piping is easy. You can set it up on either side. And power is just real easy. I just have to run power down to it. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna stick the desalinator to get this stuff desalinated. I'm thinking in base, just so someone in base can handle it. Oh, Ben, you're not good at building. You not have, what is your building score? 2. You're okay, you're not the worst. You have a plus 50%. We're gonna have to get you a lot better. But we also have another duplicate to pick from. And I'll be honest, this was a really easy choice. Don't get me wrong, Otto looks good. He does have 3 negatives, but you know what? That's not bad. He's really good with supplying and ranching. But I'm going to need a mechatronics engineer to get a bunch of stuff set up. So Sticky Buns over here, which, yes, that was the name of one of my Pokemon. Sticky Buns. Oh, has good building, operating, and he has research, which means he's going to get to learn at least the skills a little bit. Yeah, he gets 10% increased skill leveling. His only downside is that he does have an irritable bowel, so I just have to make sure whatever schedule he gets put on has a little bit longer on the downtime to make sure he can make it to the bathroom. But we're going to welcome Sticky Buns into the colony, and he's immediately going to start going towards Mechatronics Engineer. Isn't that right, buddy? But yeah, once that's built, we pretty much have the cool Salt Slush geyser captured. And the only reason to really come down here is for these two Sleetweeds, which make sure they're not buried in water. You know, let's go ahead and get that plugged in so you can at least see as it fills up. Oh, we also know the average output. We know the average output of this is 1,280 grams per second, and its next dormancy is going to be in 6.8 cycles. I can't remember. I believe these can hold up. Yeah, these can hold 5 kilograms of water. So I'm hoping 4 buffers is enough. If it's not, I just throw down another layer of tiles, throw some more buffers on. But this is also going to be constantly processed into our main water. Mossbert. All you had to do was go from right to left. Now I've got to queue up a deconstruct so you can get out. Actually, I think I only have to deconstruct the one. Yeah. Oh. This is why you have to keep an eye on your duplicates. If I hadn't noticed that, Mossbert could have been stuck there until I got the suffocation notice and died. I'm setting up the Draco ranch now since I actually have a rancher with this ranching skill. I can actually get that set up. I'm gonna have the Dracos down here towards the bottom because we're gonna actually have a loop going through that's going to come up just slightly to cool the mealwood before going up background and probably hitting a desalinator probably about here and then just dropping the water in. Mostly because the salt will be good to be moved up here and the pips pulled my eggshells out of my bin. But so we're going to set the desalinator up right over here. I'm also thinking that once we get through all the polluted water over here, which I don't think I haven't moved any polluted ice in yet, but that's fine. I'll probably set up an infinite storage system in this area. They're not really that hard to set up. You just got to get 2 auto dispensers. And you put like a little brick right here and it just drops them down onto it. You can really set it up anywhere. Heck, if I wanted to, I could actually remove these bins and get it set up right here. Might not be a bad idea, actually. Do I have the auto dispensers? I do. Yeah, it'll look a little something like this, and you literally just set this up to sweep only all. Or you can even just set it up to all, and they'll actually just, whoever you have set to sweeping or tidying, will just come through and just keep dumping them in here. You can power them, but all powering them does is make them dump faster. Like, for instance, if I, do we have, oh yeah, see, watch. And it just gets dumped right in here. So yeah, literally all of our materials can just be stored right here. But you definitely want to make sure it is set to sweep only. Otherwise, there's a chance they keep taking from this spot here. And so I'm going to queue up a low-term sweep command, just kind of across everything. So now if they ever don't have anything to do, they'll take care of the sweeping. But then I also want, I know I have a guy. Yeah, this guy just really likes tidying. Aladdin. He also really likes doing life support. I made sure he didn't do any researching. I'm going to keep him from doing anything else. So even though it's set low tier, he will make sure to run through and take care of all of that first. I left him with neutral attacking. So Aladdin will, so yeah, Aladdin here will just keep running through and sweeping everything up and dropping it off right here. That's really all I want Aladdin to do right now. And of course, since there's not really a lot of work for anyone else to do, everyone else is also doing it. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. So, we're already running out of fertilizer. I've already dug up most of this patch here and blown through it, trying to get things set up. And scrolling around the jungle biome here and checking this one down here. We're out. Except for this little. Well, I mean, there's a little bit here, but then this hydrogen will get released. And I don't want to deal with that yet. We got a little bit here still. Honestly, I might have to let the hydrogen get released and just let that be a thing. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna have to dig over here. We're gonna have to try to get that spawn set up, so I'm gonna have to... Oh, it's gonna be a lot of chlorine in the base. It's fine, there's a really big pit, it'll fall down to the pit. I'm gonna have to tunnel bore through this though, and hope the polluted water geyser, sorry, the cool water geyser is over on this side, because if it's not, I'll have to switch over to using sublimation stations. For those of you that don't know, a sublimation station, it uses polluted dirt or polluted mud. No, polluted mud is the sludge press. It uses polluted dirt, and it does create oxygen, but it creates polluted oxygen. It can be a way to get rid of your dirt, your polluted dirt. It does, however, give off 660 grams of polluted oxygen. I could stick that over here in this water pit, in the polluted water pit here. I could create a 4 wide thing here, but I also have to be careful because my power grid's already getting pretty overloaded. Oh, the best idea would be to try to go for the spawn. I'd have to tunnel bore. Best idea is both, actually. Best idea is both, and to cross my fingers that we can get the spawn set up. I could set the spawn up using all of this, but that's a long ways to pump the water up or to pump the oxygen up just to cool it down with the nullifier, and that's just too much effort. Fingers crossed, everyone, that episode 2 isn't where we die, or episode 3, depending on how long this ends up being. Okay, I think we're saved. We've got the cool slush geyser over here. This is the one that produces the polluted oxygen, the polluted water. As long as we have that, we will be fine. We just need to get up there, capture it. We could probably just set the spawn up right here. I did not think I'd be rushing this hard to get a spawn. I mean, we've got almost 75 cycles with that one. God, I just realized, like, I started this episode on cycle 40. We're already at cycle 63. I really need to get these guys some better skills. I wonder if I should set up a duplicate gym and let them... Oh, that's going to release some chlorine. Chlorine's a heavy gas. No. Chlorine's a light gas. Is it lighter than oxygen? I don't remember. I know it's lighter than carbon dioxide. No, it's heavier than oxygen. It will be fine. Ooh, also, we have the critter fluxomatic. I've never actually done anything with this. I have no idea what you could even use it for. I might experiment with it just to see. I'm going to try to leave a lot of the sleet wheat alone. I'm just going to try to capture this the same way I captured the bottom one. There's going to be a lot of rapid progress in this area here. Aside from that, the base is actually coming along. We've got the mealwood. Oh my god, why? And they planted a Murphy. This is the Pips doing. I gotta pull that up because I want 5 mealwoods in here just so I can have 7 Dracos. I will need to eventually go through and make sure to clean out all the polluted oxygen. I'm also probably gonna set up the Draco killing chamber right over here because the evolution chamber right over here. So I'm gonna try to set up the full evolution chamber right up here. Alright, so the spawn development is actually coming along nicely here. I did encounter a hiccup, though, while I was getting this set up. Mind you, this does mean that I was able to get a bunch of research done in the meantime. The cool slush geyser here that's going to be producing the polluted water isn't active for another 30.8 cycles, so I had to give this thing a jump start. So I've decided that the polluted water pit we have down in the base, I'm going to use it. I've actually already started getting it set up. I've got the pump. I've got the wiring done. I just need to get the rest. Well, I mean, I don't quite have the wiring done. I need to still wire it up. I thought I actually plugged that in. Stupid Pip, leave my stuff alone. Anyway, I'm going to get all of this pumped up and taken care of just so it's up and out of the way. Plus this leaves a... Dang it. Plus this leaves a good pit here because I'm actually going to take that brine that I started pumping that I was going to use to create the Draco Ranch, and I'm actually going to drop it right in here as well, and that's mostly because the desalinator here, as I was getting this set up, I realized that as the brine was going in and getting turned into water, the water was actually still too cold because this brine is still like this spot here is sitting at -4 degrees Celsius. And the only reason the temperature is even dropping is because it still has a thermal conductivity. So it's still exchanging the temperature with what's around it. You can see that it is cooling off just a little bit in here because it used to be a little bit more yellow. It's getting real cool right down in here, but that's what I want. But even just down in here in the cold biome, this stuff is sitting at -10 degrees Celsius. So when it actually goes through the desalinator, all that happens is it freezes to ice, causes damage to the desalinator, which causes us to repair it. I just don't want to repair it, so I'm going to drop it into this pit here once all the polluted water is gone. I'm going to throw a liquid tempidizer in there, warm it up to, say, 0 degrees, so when it goes through, the warmth that it gains should be able to just drop it right out. And then I'm going to start getting this whole pit full of water. I've got a hydro sensor here set to if it's ever below. Right now it's set to below 500 degrees, it'll open. Once we start actually getting the water up to the area, I'll set it to above 500 degrees to send the green signal. Sorry, 500 kilograms. I'm pretty sure I have that right. I can never remember this until I actually get in and just do it. But that's where we're at right now, so I gotta wait for this spawn to get done before I can get to anything else. I also decided to go with the full Rodriguez, and once it's up and running, there's a couple more things I want to cover with this that I don't think I covered in the last episode. Actually, no, I can just cover that right now. So electrolyzers take 1,000 grams of water, and they give 888 grams of oxygen and 112 grams of hydrogen. Duplicants take 100 grams a second of oxygen, so this can almost feed 9 duplicants. The way I look at this, and the way I've seen a lot of other people look at it, is it really feeds 8 duplicants with a little bit of extra. And that's just the big thing to remember, that it's only going to be able to feed 8. However, there are 2 other hindering factors, and that comes in the form of your gas pumps and your pipes. So even though I've got 2 electrolyzers here, this pipe can only take through each segment 1,000 grams of any gas. But each gas pump can only pull out 500 grams per second. So it takes 2 gas pumps in total to feed 1 pipe. So even with the full Rodriguez setup here, this is still only going to be able to feed 30 duplicants, even though we're producing enough oxygen to feed 32. And that's just the big thing you want to remember with spawns, is that you can make them big and get a whole bunch of extra oxygen inside of them, but you're going to be very much limited by your pipes and your pumps. Alright, the spawn's set up, but it's still getting mostly balanced out right now. I've still got a gap here so I can charge with the battery. We're still getting a lot of oxygen pumped up into the top system here, and you don't want that because it's just going to cause damage to the hydrogen generators. I know I've gone over all that before. However, I have also already ran all the pipes over and got them ready with the anti-entropy thermonullifier. It does take hydrogen, wrong button, there we go. It does take hydrogen to work, and it's just right here on the bottom. I've got radiant pipes here because radiant exchanges heat better, and then insulated going through. Now, the downside is the oxygen coming through is very cool, but with that up and running, people can just, like, everything else can get back on track. As you can see, like, well, aside from these being inactive, a lot of the mealwood is having problems with fertilization, so they'll be able to run through and take care of that. I've started getting the next ranch set up. And we actually have, actually a stone hatch did hatch. We have some stone hatches up here. I'm actually going to get those moved down here and start getting igneous rock stored up. Mostly so we can also start getting a good supply of meat. The hatches up here I'm probably going to keep for a bit longer, at least until I run out of sedimentary rock. We do have oxygen coming in slowly. It all depends on whether or not we actually have someone running up here to power, which is why I'm actually going to stick that to a 9, so we always have someone working on that. And our polluted water geyser goes off in 10 cycles. It took me 20 cycles to complete this. Wow. That tells you how long and complicated the system can actually be. The other problem that I know I'm having with it is you'll notice that the pipe here, the insulated pipe, is actually breaking. And that's because the water ends up sitting here and the temperature up here is pretty cold at negative 54 degrees. So if this doesn't stay running, as it goes through, it can freeze, which is why I still have it in the insulated piping. So when it comes out, it tries to maintain still a decent temperature. I might need to get another hamster wheel up there. But yeah, luckily though, now with that, we do have some oxygen coming through, so we're getting some oxygen into the base. The oxygen is still coming out pretty cold right now, about 13 degrees. It's going up a little bit. Let's call it about 15 degrees. It's getting pretty close to 15. I'm going to call it at 15. Yeah, I'm going to have to get another hamster wheel up here, or coal generator or something to jumpstart this more effectively. Either way though, Spom is running. So we are getting some oxygen down to the base. And as long as we get a little bit of oxygen, that's fine. Oh, that's right. Make sure these have igneous rock in them. Where is Stone Hatch? But it's a lot of little work that I'm going to have to sit here and work on trying to catch up on. We do have quite a bit of polluted water there. It'll get dropped in there eventually. We have some more down there. But the polluted water is also giving us oxygen, which is why I'm okay with that sitting. So they're a duplicate worth taking right now. Tidying, cooking. Oh, he's got ranching, but he also takes more calories right now, and I can't really spare those. We'll take the curative tablets. Once I start getting my calorie intake up and running, I'm going to expand into a second bedroom. Crispy here, though, has been working like a pro, getting as much pickled meal as possible. Which is really what's keeping us going, because the only thing they're actually allowed to eat right now is the pickled meal. And the barbecue whenever we get it, which we do get some meat every now and then. How's it looking up here? Yeah, I'm gonna have to... We'll get a coal generator up here, because it'll also warm it up some up here. But what's our oxygen looking like now? Because we should have... Yeah, we're getting a couple of decent pockets. Since it is coming in from the top, it is flowing down. As long as we can keep it running, we will be fine. That pip should not be in there. This isn't a pip ranch. You're going to have no food. Oh yeah, also because pips can climb on walls, there's literally no reason to ever... Oh, hey, cool. We got another pip egg. There's no reason to ever try to block them off like this. This is mostly meant for like hatches, just to keep them in this one area. And then you have all this extra space here to do whatever. Luckily though, Sticky Buns is going to get some pretty good athletics off of this. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get a coal generator up in here. All right, I swapped out with a coal generator. I also had to disconnect the wire here, but we have it balanced out now. I'm going to let it run for just a little bit longer on the coal and, well, actually, let's see about just getting it connected. So I'm going to need... Ah, there was a pocket. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of damage over here, which is also why I kept it open. But now... with that running, how's our balance looking? Our balance is looking good right now. And then we should see it, once this gets full on power, we should see it snake through all the way up and get the other 3. I do have quite a bit of power running up here, and it's nice to see all this oxygen coming through. Then knowing that, we won't need this here, and we can connect... there. I'm going to leave the coal generator run a little bit longer as well, just to ensure that it's constantly running. And then this is always going to run down and feed into this. I can't remember. Can this thing actually have automation set to it? It can't. Well, let's go ahead and sweep up what's in there, though, because I want to get that blocked up soon. I just don't want all the extra coal seeping out. But no, yeah, it looks like it's finally running perfectly fine. I got the double bridge system in here. The same one I showed you down with the water in the last episode. Or this episode. I can't remember. But yeah, we're starting to see it snake through more and more. And the entire reason for the radiant pipes is to help keep the inside of here cold. What's the temperature? Oh yeah, we're already starting to get pretty warm in here. Like, yeah, the oxygen's coming out pretty cold inside the pipes. Like, let's see, we're sitting at... Oh, no, actually, the oxygen's starting to warm up quite a bit. Which, honestly, that's fine with me, because that means once this gets set up, we can close it. They'll pass through, it'll cool down, and it'll go into the base. But with that, how are we looking in the base? How's it looking? Okay, it's starting to spread pretty good up there. Starting to spread real good down here, but it's also got all this polluted water down here. Now, the only downside is it can technically only run for as long as this water is here. So we want to make sure to get this filled with as much polluted water as possible right now. This is also how we're getting our early clay. Should we have a decent amount? Sticky Buns, you don't got to run anymore, but I like that you are. But once that's taken care of, we'll move the desalinator over. We'll get a liquid temporizer in here, and we'll start warming that up. I think next episode, I want to try to capture this hydrogen geyser and get a power system up here, as long as there's nothing else up in here. What other vents do I have on the planet? Let's see. So we found the cool slush geyser, the salt slush geyser. We found the carbon dioxide. We know where the cool steam vent is. The minor volcanoes are at the bottom. If the natural gas geyser is up at the top left, that would still work. Yeah, it's just the natural gas and the polluted water vent that we haven't found yet. Once those are found, we'll know where everything is. I actually wouldn't mind the polluted water being down here, because we could also use that for a water source. How's it looking? Okay, yeah, it's still snaking through. This will get full eventually. It doesn't take a ton of power to run. It's mostly the water. I haven't connected up this water here yet. I'm gonna let this fill as we run out of this polluted water, mostly because I can. Well, we got the emergency spawn set up though, guys. That was something I did not know I was going to be setting up this episode. I just thought it was just going to be happening. I am gonna let it run for a little bit though before I cut it out. This actually only needs to be set to a 5. I'm gonna leave that at a 7. Actually, you know what? I don't think we need it. Ah, yeah. See, we got it nice and full, and now this hydrogen, whenever there's a gap, is going to pass over. It's going to start traveling over here, and it's going to start powering the anti-entropy thermal nullifier. Once this line gets full, I'll probably need to set up another hydrogen generator, and I'll probably just drop another one like right here, and then I'll just have it running constantly. But we have a bit of time before it gets full. They're almost done sweeping out in there too. But yeah, you can already see this thing is freeze temperature at, let's see. Yeah, it's taking the hydrogen, using 10 hydrogen, and the heat production is at negative 80 kDTUs. So the temperature in here is already starting to cool off, and you can see that these are really starting to chill. So the oxygen's going in at 54 and it's coming out at 20. That is perfect. Like, because remember that crops have a, especially mealwood, has a body temperature of 10. If it goes below 10, then these stop growing. That coming out at 20 is perfect. That's exactly where it needs to be. Oh, I didn't even think about testing that. Oh, this oxygen here is coming out a little bit cooler. It's coming out just a little bit cooler, but it's fine, because by the time it gets down to the base, it heats up a little bit more. See, it comes out at... I mean, if we actually had the pipes constantly full, but it's coming down to the base at about 13 degrees, which is fine, because it's going to get warmed up. No, this is fine. We can make that work. And yeah, you can see that the hydrogen's already starting to get backed up. But yeah, no, this is going much better than expected. I also had to switch this back over to a heavy watt conductive wire. I realized when I set this system up here, I got switched to a conductive wire. That was my B. I went ahead and got that set up now, just as a precaution, because I'm probably going to let this world run for a little bit. We'll probably come back about cycle 120 just to make sure everything stays in balance, which we're doing pretty good on. Once we get this swept out, I'm going to close up this system and hope we never have to break into here again. We already have some hydrogen come up because there was some hydrogen in the tank, but honestly, with how close that is to space, it'll probably just get shot out to the vacuum of space. I'm also going to be doing a lot of digging. I want to get around everywhere. Honestly, I'm probably going to throw caution in the wind, start breaking into some of that chlorine. We're going to get a Draco Ranch up and running. We're going to move this pip. Well, we had to go through a bunch of emergency processes, but hey, at least we got it done. We also have the Draco Ranch set up. Next is getting the evolution chamber for the Dracos, and I'm going to set up the... Oh, I forgot that I was still in chat. I'm finishing up a recording right now, man.
Ah, okay.
No, you're good. Honestly, you're just here for the outro. Do you want to say anything to everybody?
Well, as you all know, don't scrub out.